Okay. Hey, we've got some more Australians coming on. So cool. Okay, welcome. Welcome everyone to the ER Shred Come Alive call. I am and have been feeling extremely emotional today. And for good reason. Because we did lose our founder, co-founder of Isagenix a week ago. John Anderson passed on. And I have had so much flowing through me. I haven't spoken about it other than to my wife and my mom and dad. Oh, and I won't speak about it very much now, other than to say how much I love John, how much he means to me, how much he did for me and my family. And for those of you that didn't know him, he was as good as they come. He was a good human being, and he actually cared. And he loved people. And I believe that John and his efforts in the very beginning was what created the culture of Isagenix. Because John truly was the heartbeat, the heart of Isagenix. And John cared about people a lot more than money. And John took a sincere interest in people. And ER Shred is very much very much part of John Anderson's legacy, because John really got it. John got it. He was so cool. I mean, he was so cool, you guys. And if you ever got the chance to meet him, you knew that feeling you got. And if you ever had the chance to be around him, you knew that almost angelic countenance that was larger than life that radiated from him. And he was a big fan of ER Shred. Big fan. John was like an uncle to me. I've known John since I was 10 or 11 years old. I called him Uncle Johnny O. And we text all the time. We send each other all kinds of funny pictures and videos all the time. And I actually talked to him not too long ago. Now, I wasn't as close to John as my mom and dad were. They were even closer, a lot closer. He was by far my dad's best friend on earth. And my mom and dad are devastated. My mom was truly like John's sister, like they were seriously that close. And my condolences go out to Cher, who we love so much, and John's entire family. And that's the reason we haven't put anything out about it, is because the family had asked that we not, until they had an opportunity to get their things in order and organized, and so that they could then share a eulogy and a tribute and so forth. Okay, that's all I want to say for tonight. John, I love you. We will absolutely continue on what you started. We will maintain your legacy. We will keep the focus on people and relationships and the joy of sharing with others and impacting and blessing lives. What greater work could we possibly be involved in? That's what you always told me. What greater work could we possibly be involved in than this? And I agree 100%. Well, I'll talk more at another time. I have intentions of going live and telling all the stories about how John impacted me personally. And I think that's the right thing to do. And just share some things that we had talked about recently, Okay. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for understanding that my heart, I haven't been able to function. I haven't been able to do nothing because all I can think about is John and his loved ones. Tonight, we're going to start with an update from Nicole Constanzer. Are you out there, Nicole? Did you guys see Nicole come on? Man. Okay, if Nicole's not on, I might actually just message her because I was planning on her being on, but we do have other guests. Hold tight. Nicole, you there? Okay. How about Leanne Humphrey? Are you out there, Leanne?
I am.
Leanne, how are you doing? Where are you calling from?
So I'm in Victoria, Australia.
Oh my goodness, Australia. What is happening with Australia? That's amazing. Thank you for joining us from down under. Wow. Thank you. It's such a treat. And, Jesse actually called me today. Jesse James Jamnick, our nutrition coach, he's on the call here. He actually called me today and he said, I just have to tell you, he goes, these Aussies are so much fun. And he's like, they are literally like our kind of crazy. They're like, just like us. And I was like, I know. So I love it. Nicole, who shared your shred with you?
Who shared it with me?
Yeah.
Sharon Simmons. So
oh yeah, she was going to be on tonight, but then she got called in for some double shift and she couldn't make it, is what she had said.
Yeah.
She was going to share an update tonight, but that's okay. So way to go, superhero, Sharon Simmons. That's awesome. And do you mind telling us, like, what's your passion? Do you have passion? Yeah, what's your passion? What do you love?
Oh, well, I own horses, so they're my passion, plus my family. So the main thing was sort of I'd gained a lot of weight. So to ride, you have to be sort of not big, really. So they're sitting out in the paddock and I'm sort of being depressed and I just needed something to get my butt into gear, basically. So yeah.
That's cool. Okay. And how long ago was that?
So I joined Isagenix just over a year ago. So in October last year, did really, really well with it. So in total, I've lost about 30 kilos with them.
I mean, 30 kilos, just so people in the US know, I think that's probably like 50 pounds.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But, yeah, so I sort of plateaued for a while and talking with Sharon and decided that give ER a bit of a go. And so far, 15 days in, 4.3 kilos lost.
Okay, so that we got to do this math because again, I'm thinking 4.3 kilos is probably like 10 pounds, but let's just get our little kilo. Hey, by the way, everybody, this is John's, John Anderson has an obituary and where you can go and you can view his memorial, and you could post comments. There's over 137 photos already that have been posted there. So I'm definitely gonna go ahead and share that on my Facebook wall. Just as I looked up kilos, it popped up. So I thought, oh, but I know that Cher and the family would just be so grateful for everybody to, share what you feel, share how he impacted your life. I know it's meaningful for them. Okay, so if we go kilo conversion, sorry that I can't do it in my head. So if you said, originally you said how many kilos on Isagenix? What was it?
30 kilos.
30 kilos, which is 66 pounds. Wow, that's fantastic. And what about, you said so far on ER Shred, what was it? 4 kilos?
4.3 kilos, yeah.
4.3 kilos, which is 9.5 pounds. So that's fantastic. That just gives everybody kind of an indication. And you've been on it 15 days. And what other things have you experienced and noticed?
Oh, look, I straight away just slept so much easier. And for me to sleep right through the night is impossible. I'm at least waking at least 3 times during the night, and I can now sleep right through. So that's a massive bonus for me. I'm not hungry like I used to be. So, I can actually, like, I'm on pain medication, and I can actually, I've halved that in like the time that I've been on it. So
you've noticed an improvement in pain. Oh, is that what you're saying?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So like I suffer from a couple of herniated discs in my lower back. So to be able to move is pretty, it hurts a lot. So to actually move around and that without as much pain is fantastic. So yeah, it's been a game changer for me, really. And so yeah, bring it on. Basically.
Wow. Okay. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to key in just a little bit more on those couple things you had said.
Go for it.
So you had said that you were, I think the word you said was plateaued, right?
Right. Yeah.
And, hey, no big deal, no problem. I hope that people understand that, ER Shred, it can serve a lot of different purposes. Like, put it in your toolbox. Like, if you feel like you've had a plateau, it can be something you pull from the toolbox and actually use like you have. With that said, were you shocked to see that additional weight start to come off?
Absolutely. I mean, eating what I was eating, I just thought there's no way that this is going to work. You're sort of watching everything that you eat prior to it, to doing this, and to not sort of have to worry about it. It's like, yeah, no, this isn't going to work. And like within the first day, I'd already dropped, a kilo, and I was just amazed. Yeah, considering 4 months of not being able to shift anything, it's just amazing. And, the inches that I've lost like 30 inches in total so far.
Have you already lost like 30 inches on ER?
Yeah.
Wow. Correct. Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Totally mind blowing. That means that body composition is shifting substantially. I mean, that's just very exciting. And I wish we could actually, if we had the means whereby we could actually determine like to what extent has lean muscle mass improved, which it does. And the shift, and that's inches. Inches represent body composition shifting. So for me, I get more excited about the inches than I do the pounds.
Yeah.
You mentioned sleep. We've never really keyed in on that. Why do you think you're sleeping better?
Oh, I don't know. It must be just what I'm not eating that's causing me to stay awake. So like,
how long had you had a hard time sleeping?
Oh, a long time. So like, all my life really, I've always been a really light sleeper, always waking up at least 2-3 times a night. Just
God, I have to wonder if it's born of another thing that you had said, which was satiation.
Yeah.
I have to wonder if being more fat fueled is more, I think we're all different. And I think some people do okay with some carbohydrate, healthy carbohydrate, as Jesse says. Some people do, good with that. Some people do good with just more fats. I find I personally do better with fats. I
Yeah.
recently heard a bodybuilder say that you can't get lean and shredded unless if you don't cut the fat out. And I just sat there and thought, that is not true. Like, that is just not true, because I'm the
Yeah.
most cut I've ever been in my life. And I eat a lot of healthy fat. I mean, it's my fuel. So I just
Yeah.
wonder if that might be part of what's going on there, is more satiation, and therefore your body isn't, tripping out and waking up and like blood sugar's freaking out, like, where's the food? Where's the sugars?
I definitely do think that is the case. Yeah. Because I'm not waking up feeling hungry either. And normally I wake up going, I need to eat straight away. So
Yeah.
I can wait, That's how
Fascinating. Fascinating. I've noticed when I feed my kids a good meal of like bacon and eggs early in the morning, I've noticed it's a great day for me, because they're not being naughty and hyperactive and behavior issues all day. But also I've noticed that they're satiated more so, and they start making better food choices of their own choice. I mean, they actually they're not as drawn to the garbage. They're satiated, therefore it's like, I'm good, I don't need that.
Absolutely.
So way cool. What about when you talk about satiation, do you also, like, have you noticed more energy, sustained energy?
Absolutely. Like I can go all day now. Like I'm not exhausted. Like halfway through the day, I want to go for a nana nap. Whereas now I can go all day, and I can do a lot more than what I used to do. So yeah, it's definitely
You almost seem like you've surprised yourself,
yeah. I have actually.
right?
I'm really surprised in on what I've been able to do in this short time that I've been doing it. So it it, yeah, it's really opened my eyes up a lot more, and
I wish Sharon was
especially my
on here.
husband's. So yeah.
I wish Sharon. What did you say about your husband?
Well, he's a big skeptic about the whole thing, and he can see that the changes are there. So his eyes are opening too. So he's now, a lot more of a sort of a, this way inclined. So
Yeah.
I'm happy for him. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I remember when I first started doing ER, it was like 2.5 years ago. I remember my father, he was really taken back. Like, he was really confused, because it kind of defied everything that he had been taught and everything he had, believed. And I remember I kept saying to him, like, Dad, like, you need to, and he would say to people, he'd say, hey, you know what? I don't know for sure. I don't know for certain. But what I can tell you is it literally brought my son back.
Mm.
He's like, I've never seen Sean with so much energy and so focused and committed and excited. And so it was kind of cool to have that feedback from him, someone who knows me the best.
Yeah. And I get that from my youngest child as well. So he can see the difference, and he's already, doing the same things like, do you want bacon and eggs, mom? And, it's like, cool, yeah. Cook it
What
for
do you
me.
think? Do you think it's kind of punishing how we, it's so restrictive? We like to say we eat like kings and queens. We get
Yeah.
well eating like kings and queens. It's
Yeah.
steak and shake. I mean, do you like the shakes?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Oh, okay.
I do love my shake. So yeah, it's
That's
out
great.
incubating at the moment. So
So do you like the incubation? You enjoy doing that?
yeah, it was sort of a bit of a at the start, and then once I tried it, I was like, this is just perfect. It's just I don't know what it is. It's just yeah.
I got to tell you, I mean, the science around it really works, and that, that stands alone. But I feel more emotionally connected to my shake when I make it that way. I feel like, I'm the mad scientist in the kitchen that's making this thing.
Like you love it a lot more because you put a lot more love into it.
You're
So
investing in it,
time,
right?
yeah,
It's
Absolutely.
like, it's awesome. Well, I'm so happy for you. And is there anything that you would say to people who are on the fence, thinking about doing this? Is there any advice you'd give them?
Oh, look, I was a massive skeptic. Just give it a go. I mean, what have you got to lose at the end of the day? Nothing. So, go for it, I would say. Absolutely.
That's awesome. And I invite you to please keep showing up in our group. That's how I met you.
Yeah.
And keep on offering up you, because we're so proud of you and we're so grateful you're part of our tribe. And we want you. I mean, you're a hero.
Oh,
You are, that's the way we look at it. People, they push back. They push back against all the nonsense, and then they take back control. And that's you. And I tell you, everybody loves a hero. And when people push back and they take back control and they lay claim to that heroism, it's amazing to watch what unfolds. It's amazing. Like, I could rattle off the names of all the hearts of ER Shred, because they all evolve. Like, they become more, and it's a little bit creepy, but in a very good way, how something as simple and universal as diet can actually spill over into all other areas of life. So we would really love to watch your journey. Please don't be shy. Please let us know how you're doing.
definitely will. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
thank you for joining us from down under. And I think that you guys should, she says, give it a go. Give it a go. That's Aussie talk. Have a go. My dad's an Australian, so I know Aussie very well.
Yeah.
All right. Much appreciation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we do have Nicole Constanza. Are you out there, Nicole?
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm good. I apologize for being late, guys. I've
Don't
been
even worry
going
about
since 5 a.m. Huh?
it. Don't even worry about it. You're here now. That's all that matters.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and I got Marley with me.
What's up, Marley? There's a shredder.
Yeah, he's jacked.
I literally, like, I
He is.
don't even have to buy dog food anymore because of how I eat. The base foundation of how I eat. It's
Yeah,
like my dog just eats everything I eat. It's
raw
fantastic.
raw meat is so good for dogs. My brother is actually a breeder, and that's what he gives his dogs is raw red meat, raw eggs.
Yeah.
All that's really good for them, just like it's good for us.
It makes sense. Makes good sense. So, Nicole, we go way, way back, but we got to share. Everybody else needs to know who you are. So, where are you calling in from?
Palm Beach County, Lake Worth Beach, Florida, which is in South Florida.
Very cool. And who shared ER Shred with you?
Well, I had written in the chat. I remember when you first started it. I didn't, not when you really first started it, because I didn't think you really told many people, but when you first shared it that you had done it. And I was one of the first shredders, I guess, if you will. Susan Rothman and I teamed up. I love her so much. Isn't she amazing, guys?
Amazing.
And we were accountability partners because we were both very skeptical, and we were both like, we don't know, but we trust Sean, and we see that Sean and Crystal, the change in them and their amazing results. And her and I could relate to, it's not that we didn't love Isagenix anymore. It's just that it didn't give us the same feeling that it once did, and you're in that kind of funk sometimes. And so yeah, Susan, so I guess Susan and you. And Jesse?
Yeah, totally. And that's cool. Like, I love that we have that history together. I love that, you've been, around for a very long time. Tell people what you do.
I love you guys. So I am a lot of things. I am a certified holistic nutritionist. I am a certified personal trainer. I am a self-defense instructor. I am a female fighter.
MMA fighter.
Yeah, I am a recovery advocate. I help people get sober, and I've been sober myself for almost 8 years, which is hard to believe. And yeah, I think that about sums it up.
you are a lot of really cool things. And, you know, I'm a big fan of yours. I always have been.
Likewise.
And it's not because you're in my team. It just doesn't work like that with me. You're my people. You know that.
Yeah,
You're my people. And, you know, I hope you feel the same. I know you do.
I
That's
do.
why you're on this call. So give people an idea. Where do you want to start, Nicole? Because, you know, I would even dig on just a little recap from you for people that don't know your story, like where you came from.
So I've lost 300 pounds. You heard that right. I've lost 300 pounds. I used to be over 450. I was last weighed on a blood drive bus, and I got bigger from there, and I weighed in at 446 on that blood drive bus, and I know I gained a little bit. So so Isagenix came into play, and it was a godsend. Gina Redzanek introduced me, and I told her,
Shout
no,
out to Gina. She's amazing.
she is. She truly is. Her and I have grown a lot together in the last 5 years. I've been with Isagenix for 5 years. That is crazy. That's like crazy. It's just flown by, and it's been the best years of my entire life, to be honest with you. The best, hands down.
Cool.
I remember being told in high school that these were the best years of my life. And I'm like, that made me suicidal, because I did not have a good time in high school, you know, and life got a lot better for me after high school. So if anyone told you that, don't believe it. But anyways, so yes, before I started Isagenix, I had lost a lot of weight, but I was doing it the unhealthy way. I was cutting calories, not paying attention to chemicals, right? People need to not count calories and count chemicals, right? So I was tired, I was depleted. I decided I wanted to be a personal trainer. At the time, I had been in retail for 15 years, and I was burnt out, working for someone else's dream. And, you know, I started getting myself healthier, and I decided that I wanted to help other people be healthier. So I became a personal trainer, and Gina was smart. You know, I told her no for 9 months, and she, like you, Sean, you know, she doesn't push people into this. She gave me time. She followed up with me, though. She was consistent. And she explained to me why she wanted me on my team, because she saw the potential on her team, because she saw the potential in me. And I finally said yes. And I told her when I enrolled that I was going to get my money back, most likely. What an ass, right? Yeah. So anyways, here I am 5 years later, loving it, sharing with everybody. My parents are on it. My best friends are on it. My clients are on it, right? Right. But anyways, that first month, the weight loss was the least cool thing. That was the least cool thing. I had a 10-year coffee addiction. I'm talking like you could not talk to me before I had some coffee in the morning, because bad things happen to good people, you know, like I just wasn't nice. I woke up one morning, I think it was like on day 6 or 7. I didn't need the coffee that much. Like I actually had gotten ready for work and went to work without even realizing that I hadn't had my coffee yet. And I had natural energy. That was the first time I think I felt like natural energy, because I had been so unhealthy all of my life. So anyways, my depression and anxiety, I'm very open about mental health struggles. I wish more people were. I have severe depression, anxiety, and PTSD, and I notice a crazy difference in those. And to be honest with you, that's what pushed me to go to school to become a nutritionist, because of the difference in my mental health after incorporating this nutrition. I finally, for the first time in my life, was able to reach my weight loss goal. And I have kept that weight off for 4 years. Understand, guys, I gained 100 pounds back in 6 months one time. I never had a handle on my weight, ever. It was one of my biggest struggles. I've had an addictive personality my whole life, and food was my first addiction. And then when I was a teenager, other things happened, right? So, but I always remember that food was like an escape for me, you know? And I finally have a good, healthy relationship with food. So fast forward, you know, I'm now a nutritionist. It's 2020. Sean's talking about this thing, right? And I'm like, what? Meat all the time? Are you crazy? You know? But you know what? I love you so much, Sean, and I know how authentic you are, and I fucking love that about you. Excuse my language, everyone.
Oh, thank you.
I love that about you so much. And
Thank
you really are one of the most genuine people I've ever met. And guys, my first month in Isagenix, before I even really started sharing, Sean got on the phone with me for like an hour.
Mhm.
And you know what he told me? He said, one day, Nicole, I'm going to watch you on stage, share your story. And that was, at the time, I was like, he's crazy. You know, I'm not getting up in front of a bunch of people telling my story. Guess what I do now, you guys? I speak to groups of people and I share my story. I haven't gotten up on like an Isagenix stage yet, but it'll happen one day. You know why? Because people like Sean believed in me before I believed in myself. And Gina too, and Susan, Jesse, you guys don't realize the amazing people that you have in your corner here. As a nutritionist, you know, I don't turn my nose up to other companies. I'm very happy to see other companies becoming cleaner. I felt like 5 years ago, Isagenix was like the only one that had clean ingredients, and now there's more sprouting up. And I'm happy to see that, instead of being like, oh, screw that company. I'm happy to see that, but there's still only one company as a health professional, knowing everything I know today, that I trust, and that's Isagenix. And they've consistently proven to me that they put people over profit. And if you do a little bit of research, if you went to the grocery store and picked out 10 random items and sent me a picture of the back label, the back one, because the front one's always going to sound good, the back where they put the fine print, right? I can tell you which of those companies care about people at all, and which of those companies are just trying to make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
And it's really sad, guys, because we got people dying way too young. We have people that are sick all the time. Our grandparents didn't have gluten allergies, you know? Sean has really dug up something here that it's ancestral. It's been around for years. And our ancestors used to use Eastern medicine, ashwagandha, things that Isagenix uses. I'm sorry, and meat, and that's what they lived on. And you know, I don't know how we've gotten away from that, because if you look around, everyone is sick. Everyone is so sick. People my age at 33 act like they're 63. You know what I mean? Like I know some people I look up to in my industry, 70-year-old that can run circles around some 30-year-olds, guys. You know why? It's not because their family has all been super fit. It's not because they're perfect with their eating. It's because they care, and they care about what they're putting into their body, and they're trying things like Sean's program and seeing how it works for them. Right. You know, Sean and I aren't out here pushing this on everybody, because we understand everyone is unique and different. Being a vegan works for some people, you know, but we're seeing a lot of people that think the vegan thing is good, and their bodies are telling them that it's not. You know, and we've got to learn to listen to our bodies. That has been groundbreaking for me, because I did not know how to do that, nor did I want to know, because I just pushed through.
Did you feel like, I feel like the protocol, the old meets new, you know, the ancient combined with the modern, I feel like it created this platform whereby I could start to learn to feel. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
The internal transformation, everyone oohs and ahs over and it's I'm not discrediting myself. It's 300 pounds is a lot of weight to lose, right? It's pretty cool. But if you guys only knew me 10 years ago, if you would have told me 10 years ago this is my life, I'd have been like, whatever you're smoking, I want some of it. You know, because I couldn't even, I didn't have the mindset to even envision a life like this.
Right.
I didn't even know it was possible. Right. But thank God that even though I was so closed-minded and negative, that I took those little steps and I let people like Sean and other mentors in my life guide me. And I just, even though I was skeptical, even though I didn't know if I could do it, even though whatever, I still knew that I saw something in them that I wanted. And that was enough for me to take the next step. And before you know it, you turn around and you've climbed a mountain, you know? So
someone like you, like ultimately, someone like you makes the most legitimate mentor, coach, you know, teacher, trainer, because you have seen the other side. You have lived it.
Yeah.
So I know what it feels like to suffer, you know, but you know what it's like to suffer for years. And so it's just so meaningful to me. You are so meaningful to me. I hope you know how much I love you also. And I hope you know how much I appreciate you and all the good you're doing. I love your videos. I love just your vibe and your mantra. You're so ER shred. It's just so fun. Because ER shred is just that. We're just real and raw. What you see is what you get. And you are definitely all that. Is there anything else you'd want to say in closing?
You're never bound to your current circumstances, and remember that, you know, even people that you think have it all together and have accomplished all their goals and their dreams and their life is perfect, they still have struggles too, guys. They still have times where they don't feel like working out or they don't feel like eating healthy. We're all human. We're all just trying to do our best. So all you can do is just try and make more healthy choices than unhealthy ones, and understand that no one's perfect. That's it.
I got to ask you one more question. I just realized.
Okay.
Have you found that in your efforts to share from the heart and impact others with, you know, these products, have you found the ability to supplement your, we don't talk a lot about this, but I think, you know, people need to understand that there's incentive to share beyond ourselves, and you can justify that investment, and I want to call it an investment of your time and your energy as you share beyond yourself. You can truly justify that investment, even beyond just doing it out of the goodness of your heart, because we're paid to do it. We actually are compensated to share this forward. Have you been able to do that yourself, and you know, has that been able to benefit your life?
So when I started in summer of 2017, I had a full-time job, and I was working at 2 title boxing clubs before I was even a certified trainer. They let me work there and get the experience. I did Isagenix in the pockets of my day, guys. A year and a half later, I bought my first house. I took my business full-time, and I used the entire down payment was paid for by Isagenix, because I was disciplined and I put that extra money that I was making in the pockets of my day away, and it paid for the down payment of my home. I saved up $20,000 in less than 2 years.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Doing this very part-time now. I want to be clear. I'm a hustler. I work hard. I'm definitely not perfect though, and I definitely have those times where I don't feel like doing stuff, right? So I want you guys to understand it does take work, but at the same time, like whatever grocery store you go to, right? You spend all your money there every month. Imagine if they gave you a percentage back every single week of what you spent, like a cashback credit card. Not only that, but if you tell me and Sean to go there and buy something, and we do, and we mention your name, they gave you a referral bonus for doing that. You're doing that anyway. You're already talking to people. You're already buying groceries. Like, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. And to be honest with you, when the pandemic hit, all the gyms closed down. People didn't even want to come over to my house after I assured them I'd sanitize everything. Guess what saved my business?
Yeah.
It's the only income I had coming in, guys. The only income. And I hit Crystal Director later that year in 2020 and got my certified nutritionist certificate. Because of that time, I used that time to my advantage instead of being like everyone else who was fearful and just, you know, I said, you know what, I'm gonna make this happen because the universe is telling me like now's the go time, you know. And I'm so grateful for this income. So.
Well, sorry guys, I had the mic pointed that way the whole time. I wanted to ask that question. I wasn't even sure what you're going to say. You know, we don't talk a lot about money because money's not the predominant motivation. Right. But I love that that's there for you. I love that you've acquired that. We like to say that, you know, you've gathered it, you know, hunters and gatherers.
Residual income rocks, man.
Man, that's so cool. And that's another thing that John was very passionate about. He always said he chose this marketing methodology because you spread the wealth around. It's not about just corporate heads getting obscenely wealthy. It's an opportunity whereby people like you and I can actually share in the profits and, you know, grow together. And it was meaningful for John. So thank you, Nicole. We love you so much. Thank you.
I wish I had gotten to meet him. Rest in peace, John. I appreciate everything he did. And I wouldn't be as healthy as I am today without his formulation. So thank you, Sean. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. I will definitely be doing more in the way of, a tribute to John, in the near future, so that people can understand more so the roots of our company, which is so meaningful. We have one more share tonight before we let Jesse send us off. But that is, you guys, was that cool? Like, hey, listen, check it out. Were you guys like surprised when Nicole, all of a sudden, she's just like, she's like, I lost 300 pounds. Were you guys like, wait, what? What did she just say? 300? I mean, that's legit superhero status. Am I right? All right. We'll throw swords up for everybody after Julie. Julie Simmons, are you out there?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Julie. How are you?
I'm good.
Well,
Thanks for having me.
thank you for joining us and for your patience. You're our last share of the night before Jesse closes us out. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Minneapolis.
Very cool. Who shared ER Shred with you?
Amy Sater.
Okay, that's cool. I know Amy.
Yeah.
And what's your passion?
My passion would be my family. Before Isagenix, which was 7 years ago for me in October, this past month, I was a pretty tired grandma, but I wanted to be there for my kids to help them support with their children. And I just didn't have energy to do that. And when I was introduced to the Isagenix way of eating, it brought back a balance to my body. I didn't think I had a lot of weight to lose, but the benefits that I initially felt, the energy came back. When you can do cartwheels again with your grandkids, you can stand on your head and do fun things like that, they think grandma's pretty cool.
I think that's pretty cool too.
But a year ago, though, I had a health crisis come and hit me blindside. I had melanoma on my back, a big one. And when they took it off of me, because it was cancer, it took me about 6 months to recover. And during that time, we kept doing shakes, but it was a struggle to get your mind back into being healthy. And it didn't seem like anything we did was working. So I kind of felt like I was in a funk.
I think
a
lot of us can relate to that. Good word.
Yes. And so I had been watching Amy, and she was talking about this incubation. And I'm a nurse, so I understood what incubation was, but I was like, ew, I just don't know. Really? Okay. So my husband and I went to Celebration in August, and I've been watching for a while. And I said, gosh, we could just incubate our shakes while we're there. Let's just try it in the hotel room. So initially, that's what we did all week. It worked.
Yeah.
I mean, it was better on my belly. I mean, we felt good. It was pretty amazing to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we came home and started eating all the meat.
Did you? How long ago was that?
We did that in September. So we did, like, I think you've talked about, we did like a 3-week just shakes and meat.
Oh, you did like a legit foundation baseline. Yeah.
Yes.
We love that. We get excited when we hear that. Okay.
Yes. So we did that. We did do 2 one-day cleanses in that period of time, but both of us dropped 10 pounds and I don't know how many inches. And honestly, I've not gotten on the scale again. I'm taking your word for it. Just don't do it. I don't have muffins.
You're a scale smasher, maybe.
I'm not, I haven't smashed it yet. It's still up there, but I'm just not getting on it. So there's no more muffin tops. There's no more, I need a nap in the afternoon. I'm a short girl. You look like you're a tall guy. To get into my top cabinets, I used to always, you stick your leg up. Hey, any girls out there, you know what I'm talking about. Put your leg up on the counter and you get up to the top shelf. I couldn't do that before this, and I'm back to doing that. So that excites me.
That's great.
The little things. even running up the stairs. I couldn't do that. My hip would hurt.
Yeah, we
there
hear
was
it a
little
lot. Like we
things.
hear a lot about the stairs and people saying that they used to have all these aches and popping.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, and even the fact that we notice such is pretty cool, because I like to think that going more primitive, ancestral would enhance our ancestral senses. And it's really interesting that people pick up on this stuff. Like, wait a minute, when I used to walk down the stairs, everything would pop and hurt. And now it's just smooth and flowy. The fact that they even notice is pretty cool.
Yes, it's true.
I love it. What about hubby? Has he noticed anything else? Some of the things that you're talking about as well?
He has. Yes, yes.
That's
He's,
cool.
he's moved his belt a notch. That
That's
excites
great.
him. Yeah, yeah. But I think when you feel like, I think someone mentioned on the page that when your pants feel longer, the towel is too big now, things like that. I mean, totally. We're experiencing that.
Yeah.
But the aches and pains, I love that they're not there. But as I've started adding foods back, those are some of the things that I have noticed. For me, it's going up the stairs and I go, oh, my right hip hurt. What did I add tonight?
That's right.
Oh, that was zucchini, really?
There you go. Crazy,
really
crazy, but so empowering and so important.
Yeah, a raw tomato. I tried it twice because I've gardened all of my life. This is what I was raised to do by my family. We all have gardens. My kids all have gardens, but like you said, some of those vegetables aren't serving us well.
Right.
And the raw tomatoes gave me canker sores overnight.
Yeah.
I tried it 2 weeks in a row. I was like, nah, it can't be. It just can't be. But it did it again. I was like,
this is the kind of stuff that we get really excited about, because now we're talking about a full-blown experiential education.
Yes, yes. And I know, people, I know it just seems all wrong. Actually, Earl was asking me, my husband, today, so what do you think our cholesterol is like now? And I said, I don't know, but I can't wait to find out earlier next year when we go to the doctor and do all that again.
It'll be exciting to see, how things are coming along. We want to keep following your journey as well. So please keep showing up. Do you like the community? Is it something that you find meaningful and valuable?
Definitely. Yes. Yes. I love contributing. Yes. And being a part of it.
Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Well, thank you guys.
Yeah. And we just so appreciate, people like yourself. Of course, we love traditional Isagenix, and it has dramatically impacted so many lives for such a long time. And we also, we just love having this other facet. Right. You see what I'm saying? And did you ever notice, I wanted to ask, did you ever notice like the boom, like cravings were just killed? Did you ever have that happen?
We walked through Costco this morning because we had a few things that we needed. And you know what they do at Costco, right?
Right.
I was getting my Kerry butter and cheese there, but everybody else is eating all those. Oh yeah, get a little snack, We didn't have a one. We didn't care.
Yeah.
We had no cravings. We walked right through it. It was lunchtime.
Totally empowered, right? Like, totally. And you'll get to the point, like Jesse, you'd love it, dude. If we went out to dinner and a steakhouse and they brought out rolls, I'm not joking with you. Every time I grab the rolls, I'll even break them open a little, and I sit and I smell it, and then I look at my kids and I go, there, I've consumed some. Fantastic, thank you. And I put it down, and they look at me like, Dad, how can you do that? And it's like, it's just, I'm not joking you. Like, I'm just that empowered. Last thing I'll ask is around did you ever have that moment where the energy was different?
Oh, yes. Yes. It was in that first week. I just said to Earl, like, we couldn't stop doing. You got to keep moving. I mean, I haven't felt that way since a year ago in July when they took that cancer off my back and I became a warrior,
Yeah.
So that was very exciting to me. I want to be moving now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's how I feel when we say, come alive, right?
Yes, come
Come
alive.
alive. It's like
Totally.
you're just lit. You're just
Yes.
lit and
Yes.
you just feel good. So thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations on your, being a cancer survivor and a warrior.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Very cool. And thank you for coming on. And we'll look forward to cheering you on in the group as well.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate you. We need to throw up swords for everybody, guys. Before I turn it over to our nutrition coach, throw up some swords for our certified official. These are shredder status approved warriors. We love you guys. Jesse James Jamnick is a nutrition coach. He is, but more importantly, he's Coach Jesse. I mean, he's our ER Shred ambassador. He's been with us since the very beginning. His knowledge is out of this world, but my love for Jesse has always been, and he knows this, is just his ability to take complex things and make them very easy to understand and very easy to apply, which for me, a simple man, I really appreciate. And I've told you that a zillion times, Jesse, and you just keep showing up and you just keep offering it up, and it actually is getting even better. So mad respect and love. Do you want to comment on our shredders here and send us off as well?
Yeah, well, thanks. I'm blushing.
Look at you. You're all pumped up. Look at you. You're all blown up, boy.
I stopped running for a little while. And
people don't know that about you. People don't know that it's the running that makes you lean, but when you're not running, you get pretty jacked.
Oh, dude, I'm in full jacked mode right now for sure. Yeah. I just told you I have until January until the next training block for the next ultra marathon comes up, and it's like full go mode. It's fun. It's a competition because I did bodybuilding, obstacle course racing, ultra marathon running. That was kind of like the trajectory. And everybody always told me that I couldn't do both. I couldn't be a long distance endurance runner.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like a NBA basketball player as a jockey on a horse. It doesn't add up.
Well, I'm determined. And at 43, I'm still sticking to it. So, dude, I have a lot of emotions tonight too. You started this call with something that, whether you knew John Anderson or not, and I didn't know him personally, if you're here right now, you got to feel some sort of gratitude. I've been a part of this, amazing journey for 7 years now. And Sean, I've known you since day one. And I, like Nicole, I told you this, I would take a bullet for you. You're one of the most down to earth, genuine, accepting people. We all do crazy things in life, and I'm right there with everybody. I've done some ridiculous, stupid stuff, right? That we all just go, what was I doing? What was I thinking? And Sean's just that guy that you can literally tell your deepest, darkest secrets to, and he'll love you and accept you and be like, okay, let's go. Like, he just can see it. So that's you, Sean. And for John, my deepest condolences to him, his family. I know it was a quick, thing that nobody expected. And gosh, I mean, not even just Isagenix, but before. I mean, this guy is world renowned, known as like literally the mineral man. I mean, he could do things with minerals and things from the earth that nobody even dreamed of. And he made it come to fruition to help himself. And that's what I think is so cool about everybody's journey is we got to help ourselves first, right? And from that creates this thing. It's how ER Shred was born, for crying out loud. If we think about it, through your crisis and Crystal's crisis, and my passion lies in my crisis. And I remember growing up an overweight kid and getting made fun of my entire life, and struggling and just wanting to feel accepted. And we all come from that, so just deepest condolences to, John's family, and may he rest in peace. And I'm so grateful for him and his courage. And that's the thing I want you guys to think of. Courage, right? This takes courage. This takes courage to say yes. This takes courage to go against the norm of what we think is right. of what we've been told and brainwashed and sold and marketed to and pumped for years and years and years. That's why this seems so weird at first to people, right? It's because you can literally go to nutrition school, and I'm just going to say this as blunt as possible because, you know, I'm a blunt guy. Those textbooks are so ass backwards. Okay. Like when you actually figure it out, they're so ass backwards. And then you start to learn research and you start to, you know, spiel and spew over it like I do. It's just like my life. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me, you know? And so it takes courage. And I want you guys to all really sit in that, you know, when you have those struggle days, and you have these things, you have people that are like, you're doing what? And, you know, I get people that question me all the time, right? People have questioned me about my protein intake for the last 15 years. And I'm like, now we have evidence to show that there's no correlation between high protein intake and anything kidney related, unless you have a known kidney disease. That's not my opinion. That's meta-analysis, published research that you can find, right? So it's like we're breaking down these myths, but to do that takes courage. To share the shred takes courage. But I just want to remind you all that none of you would be here unless Sean had the courage to step outside the norm. And, you know, I was the idiot who just kind of jumped in third and was like, yeah, let's go. You know, that was always fun, right? Sean tells me I'm the bigger idiot because I was the one who kind of came after, and I'm like, okay, I'll take that role, no problem, Captain Gummy. You know, but if you just think about it, it really makes so much sense. I mean, it really makes so much sense. All these amazing shares. Thank you to every single one of you guys. Like, we're nothing without you. Nothing. Without this community, this is nothing. It's shit. It's washed up. It's gone. You can have the best things in the world, guys, but without the love and support and that community for each other, that sense of being, that sense of place, that is really what's so awesome. I mean, think about it. When you have a bad day, you're like, crap, I got 26.2 thousand other people that got my back, right? And you can go in there and you can find stories of all kinds. You'll find your like kind in our tribe. Our tribe is everyone's like kind because it's such a smorgasbord of what it is, right? Like, so think about this power, and it only gets better by sharing. It only gets more amazing by sharing. You know, the fact that you can make a little bit of money. I mean, if that bothers you, like, my God, stop going to the doctor. They're charging you $500 for 10 minutes and they're not giving you shit for answers. I mean, let that come to fruition for you. Like, let's just be real here for a minute. Okay. Like, you're going to these places and you're buying the stuff and you're getting nothing in return. I mean, gosh, the community alone, are you kidding me, for $10 a day? Like, I tell Sean all the time, I'm like, I can't believe I've spent, I don't even want to tell you how many thousands of dollars and hours now learning to give it. But that's the beauty of ER Shred. I want to share that with you. I'm not saying that in a mean way. Like, that's where my passion comes from, because I realized how amazing I could feel. And I wasn't that way, right? I wasn't that way at one time. And that's the beautiful thing about this is, like, I'm like, everybody has to at least have the opportunity. Like, who am I to keep that from someone? You know what I mean? Who am I to keep that from someone, whether they get it or not? It's none of your business. It's none of your business. Like, it's just none of your business. Detach from that. But not sharing is almost sinful in my mind, because this is so simple. Like, I love this so much, Sean. For me, when you said this to me and you're like, you called me up, I remember that day, and I was like, not thrown back, because I'm like, dude, I eat the shit out of meat already. You know what I mean? I've never been scared of that. I've never been scared of salt. I've never been scared of protein. I've done all these things along the way. And it had to cross the T's and dot the I's, because you and I said, look, we're 40, we got kids. Like, this has got to be legit. And we got to really, really help people. Like, no bullshit, no smorgasbord. Sean and I have been, I mean, combined now, what, dude? Like, we got 60 years, at least 40 years, right? Of nutritional something. And it's like, there's no time for games. There's only time to impact lives. And that's truly where I believe the belly of this beast lies, right? Is in that. And it's okay to help yourself first. You should. It's not selfish. It's not greedy. It's actually the right thing to do, because you can't serve from a cup half empty. You can't serve your family. You can't serve your job. You can't serve your business. You can't serve the people you love. You can't do any of that if you can't serve yourself first. And this is just getting your train and putting it back on the track so you can do that. That's what I see this as. Like, this is that vehicle for people to give them that, right? And we could break down. I mean, I could tell you why you're not hurting. I could give you the science, but that's so second to what I'm talking about right now, right? Giving people that real life vehicle, like steering clear of the bullshit, steering clear of all the false information, the false stuff, and giving people that honest shot. And it's such a beautiful thing. So you get there, and then the only genuine thing to do is to reach back down and pick other people up. Like, if we were there ourselves before, why would we not reach down and pick other people up, right? It just seems like the human thing to do. Like John said, right? Like, what better business? Like, are you kidding? I go to bed happy every night. Like, my kids can be proud. Like, daddy helps people genuinely from the heart, you know? And if you're, again, I'm just going to say it because it's there, but like, if you're getting money from that, but you're serving from the heart, and somebody has an issue with that, they're not your people. They're not your people. Run very far away and come back to your tribe, right? Come back to your tribe. So that's what was on my heart tonight, man, through all of this and feeling that. I hope it resonates. I hope it hits home, and let's keep growing, keep going for you, keep pushing the boundaries, keep inspiring yourself, because you're going to keep shocking yourself. You know, the one lesson I keep reminding myself of, Sean, every single time I find myself on this thing called ultrasignup.com, it's like my biggest nemesis. It's where I sign up for all these ridiculous, stupid things that I do. It's like, and I pay money. But every time I do it, man, it's like, I want to pick the bigger, harder one, you know? And it's like the one that people go, whoa. And I'm just like, yep, but let's see. Right? If I think that there's a chance for failure, that's my game. Because then when I can do it, it's another notch. And wherever you're at, don't look at what I did. I mean, it was for 20 years. Like, take where you're at. Imagine if you can just go one more, you push one more, and you get one more win and one more win and one more win, right? Somebody said it tonight, and it's like, all of a sudden you turn around and all those wins are compounded on themselves from just showing up for yourself first every single day. And then from there, obviously, we can show up for so many other people.
Speaking of other people, brother, thank you so much. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I just realized one of our tribe members, the Heart of ER Shred, Mimi Terrell, are you down to send us off with that original song? This has been a neat night for me.
I totally forgot. I forgot.
Well, I forgot until Jesse started talking about all those warm, fuzzy, feely things. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's right. Mimi, we had said that you would sing it at the end.
So this is the very first ER Shred song. I've written over 20, and I think I've got 14 of them posted. But this is the very first song. And it goes like this. Oh, by the way, in the very first and second shred, Sean kept saying, we're not freaks, it's just meat. So my hashtag was, it's only meat, we're not freaks, or something like that. But anyway, that's part of this song. There we go. ER Shredders, we make the world much better. Ba 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 ba. Grass-fed butter, there really is no other. It's simply meat, we're not all freaks. We incubate our awesome shakes. Break protein down, then drink it up. Shake a stick times 7, that's what's up. Then you will be in our community. The love we share is an anomaly. Come and join Shred Nation. Bump, bump, bump. This is your invitation. Yeah, eat our shred, baby. It's in the meat.
It's so great. All right, if you guys want to unmute and send your love for Mimi, thank you so much, Mimi. That was beautiful.
I loved
You're
it,
the
Mimi.
best.
Thank
It was so
you.
cute.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Good night, everybody.
Good
see
night,
you in the group.
everyone.
We'll see
Thank
you.
you, Sean. Thank you
Thank
to all
you.
the girls
Love
who
Mom.
shared our shredders. Thank you, Jesse.
Thanks, Mimi.
Good